Some people know the land as well as they know their own eye or hair color. It's simply a part of them. Meet Robert Sudlow. Robert's been painting the landscape he's so much a part of for over 50 years. You've had a life in art, Bob.
I guess so. I guess so. Yeah, yeah. I don't know whether it chose me or I chose it.
Your life is so much a part of your surroundings now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's what it really is about, you know, whatever you do, particularly my painting, is an attempt to fuse myself with nature. And I got a lot of that from Block, but not this kind of thing of immersing myself directly into it. There was this idea of plein air painting, of painting on location, which the Impressionists did. And I never felt of myself as an Impressionist, but I felt very strongly to be authentic, I had to become a part of what I felt was most important. Most important to me was nature, not history or literature or anything like that, but just immersing myself in nature. That's where I felt most at home. I think I was that way as a kid too. But now look at that, boy! It just
It's like a light gets turned on.
yeah, you get a light in there. I'm going to start with kind of the whole color pattern, and just let it take off. I was out painting 2 days ago, just out here, slopping around in the mud, and this guy rode by on his bicycle, and he said, "That's interesting." I said, "Your friend came by a few minutes before. How come you're lagging behind?" He said, "He had size of a bull. I can't keep up with him, but he just likes to look at the landscape." So we had a pretty nice conversation, and he said, "You know, when I'm out here, I know God is around." And I said, "Right on." I do too. So it was a nice little connection there. But you know, there's nuances and things that happen in nature that are just so fugitive and so up to chance that I just come out and attempt to learn by it. It is a celebration. Yeah, it's a spiritual kind of journey. And I still do it when my batteries run low, which is quite often. I have to go out as a compulsion, and I see nature as kind of a sacred mandala of some sort. Not that I know what it is, but if I become a part of it, I know then. You know, I feel very strongly about the genie of the place, the spirit of the place, and I couldn't touch this genie. I don't know that I can anyway, but this spirit is not to be taken lightly. So I simply give it a try and see where it goes.
What has the land and the sky taught you here in Kansas?
It's hard to say. I mean, it's just an enormous reality that you can't comprehend, but you can go along with it. I think I have kind of a Zen idea with that. You know, you open your pores, you breathe deeply, and you don't separate yourself because it's you too. And when I paint, I do get this identity thing, which is more important than the product. The experience is what's important. And I've been very fortunate in that. I think I've always been this kind of guy, but maybe it's more connected than it used to be. I don't know.
And you know, there's a kind of release once you get past the beginnings, that you feel like you're guided by something beyond yourself. To me, it's a very spiritual kind of idea you're working with. Because you know, the very nature of time and change is something you have to deal with. And every time I come out here, I come out with an idea what I want to do. Like I have an idea what I want to do now, and it probably won't work. But that's the joy of it. One of the old sayings is there's no black in nature, and that's true. There's 100 shades of green in here. It's sure different than painting in the studio. I do take these things back and consider them there, of course.
When we come back, we'll hear more from Bob Sudlow. Welcome back. We continue now our conversation with Bob about his life in art.
It's very transitory and very changeful and full of miracles. It's very much a part of my spiritual quest, I know. Because I'm always in a state of openness and awe, I think. And the transport that you get, you can't fake it, you know. You really can't. You got to somehow let it all go, all your formulas, and discover. And it's always very humbling. I was out here not long ago, and a great blue heron landed over there. I really felt honored. I painted that willow tree a dozen times. It still just eludes me. And I think after a while you begin seeing that color itself makes the space. It's not so much the light and dark, but it's the strange quality of one to the other. By the time you think you have it, it slips away from you, becomes something else. I think light is color, really, and of course, I think as you paint, you start sensuously involving yourself in temperature, change, and unless you get surprised, you really never know what it is. It comes out the other way. It's always interesting. Sometimes your mistakes are the best part. Well, once I got pretty involved with Buddhism and breathing and how the air becomes a part of you and you are a part of it, and this merging. And well, I don't consider myself a Buddhist at all, but I think that some of that is very good. The other thing I find after I paint for a while and I step back, my eyes are not working the way they're supposed to. I'm scanning in a different way.
I wonder what happens.
Well, I think it's the idea of painting the whole situation rather than things. I have always had this tendency when I go out and paint in the landscape, I don't observe particulars. I only observe the effects. And I know I was out recently and the wind was blowing and I was painting this vast scene, and I knew there was something white over here, and I didn't know whether it was a rock or a cow. But I lose the sense of what things are and get more involved with what they're doing in terms of the canvas. So in a way, you're focusing on a different kind of reality, and it does affect one. You know, I felt a great admiration for old Monet. I think he was well into his 80s when he was painting these water lily things in Giverny. And how he did it, I can't imagine. I mean, they were big. And I'm sure that he did a lot of small ones, but boy, I'm no Monet, I know that.
If you were to describe your life in art and your goals for your art, how would you do that?
Well, I think it's a kind of following your own nose, your own instincts, and painting changes me, and so I go with it. I don't set out with plans very clearly. I'm not very good at planning. I let things happen, and maybe that's part of the Zen part of it. I don't know. But it's been a good journey.
We'll be meeting artist Colleen Gregoire when